This conference will now be recorded.
So, okay, last topic is about, I think, a unit, correct? Right? Yes? No?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
today we
Mune.
are going to discuss about one more topic, a very small topic, how we use the database module, how we use Java module like that. We have one more module called file module, right? If you know about the file FTP, file transfer, all are same, right? So how many of you are from Java background here? I don't think so. Anyone here who are attended out of these four people? I don't think so. Is it anyone who knows about some Java knowledge, having some Java knowledge? Okay, and let me tell you. See, in Java, there is something called file input stream, file output stream, buffered input stream, buffered output stream. What do you mean by stream? Hey, hi, Sushmita and Raju.
Hi, Sujit.
I just started with a new module, file module, very small topic, a file endpoint. We'll call it as a file endpoint, file module, anything, right? So in Java, you might have known about what do you call this one? Buffered input stream, buffered output stream, file input stream, file output stream. Is it aware? Yes? No? Hey, hi Arvind. Okay, so by using a file endpoint here, how you are going to read a file present in some directory, right? So by using a file endpoint, how you are going to pull onto the directory, right? So once you pull onto the directory, at what regular intervals you can pull onto that, you can customize that, right? You can according to the configurations. And if any new file is added, you can, I mean, automatically my file endpoint is going to trigger by using some connector. At the same time, any modification is done already on in existing file, then also it can be done by one of the connector. So what are these connectors? How to read, how to write, how to delete, how to modify, all these operations we'll see under this file endpoint. Okay. So first, in my C directory, we have something called files. Okay, I have created one folder called files folder, right? In that files folder, I have created one more subfolder called input folder. And whatever the files present in this input folder, I want to process that file. Okay, by using my file endpoint, right? So input for input directory and one more output. What is this output? We'll see later. And moved also. I have created three folders inside the files folder. Okay, these are the subfolders, right? So moved, input, and output. So right now everything will go based on a requirement. Guys, here first thing is if any new file is added to this input directory according to my configurations, my file endpoint configurations, it will pull onto the directory. So let me import a project called file using a file module start. So what is our first requirement? Everything will be based on requirement, guys, right? So what do you mean by stream? First of all, what do you mean by stream? Stream. Stream. What do you mean by stream? A normal English word. What do you mean by stream? Is it audible to all? Is it audible?
Yes.
So what is a stream?
I think live continuous live.
Flow.
Yes. Yes.
It's a flow. River stream. What do you mean by river stream? River stream. Flow of water. Yes or no? Binary stream. What do you mean by binary stream? Flow of binaries. See, basically the file endpoints are blind. They are not aware of what they are going to read, what they are going to write. They will just read it in the binaries and write it into the binary format only. Okay, they don't know what is the structure they are reading and what is the structure they are writing. Okay, what we need to do if you want to write any some structure, how to create that structure. You already know, you have seen already in the transformer how to create your metadata for input structure. Today we'll see about how to create a metadata for output structure, right? So we'll see that. So you understand about what is a stream now, right? Now, first requirement, my file endpoint, as I discussed just now, file, what is the folder I created inside that, inside this files folder, input folder. I want to place some file, some inventory details of a one company. Let me open that folder which I have given to you. In that labs and workspace, if you have seen that there is something called sales.csv file. Where is that sales.csv file? I have taken from one of the real-time projects. This is the inventory details of your particular company. So I mean, let me take that and copy into the input folder. Let me open that sales. So, or what you are able to see here, what you are able to understand from this file, can anyone tell me? I said someone should respond. Raju, Sushmita, anyone?
It's a
Some
comma
transaction.
separated file. The values are separated with comma.
That's what are this? What is this data? It's an
That means
inventory
sales data.
details. Pardon?
Some user data.
User data or product data? So sales data. See, product
Sales.
Sales
ID,
data.
sales data. It's a sales inventory details, right? Which product got which, I mean, sold at what time, what is the transaction ID, what is the date, account, and everything is listed here, right? So it's a CSV file. Now let me place this CSV file in the input folder. Yeah, I placed it here, right? Now what is my requirement? According to the configurations present under this mule file, what is the module I want to use? Let me add that module. Files is a module. See, these all are the operations. Can we call that as a connectors? Yes or no? By using any multiple of by any operation, we can connect to the external application. That's what is nothing but a connector, correct? So copy is one operation. Create a directory, delete, list, move, on new or update, read, rename, write. All these are the all these are the connectors, operations connectors, right? So these are very small, I mean very small operations. Okay, if you want to delete, say I'm just drag and dropping the delete, you need to configure that which file to be deleted, where I need to I mean which file, which folder I want to pull on. You need to give the configuration and give the path. That file will be get deleted, right? At the same time, uh, at the same time, read also, establish a connection. You can use the same connection also and give the file, which file to be read. See, these are very small operations. All these things I'm going to show you in one operation called on new or updated file. Triggers when a new file is created in a directory. This is the ultimate caption for the on new or updated file. So let me drag and drop this on new or updated file here. So by default, where it is placed in a flow structure,
In the source.
source. Why? What is the responsibility of this on your updated file? If you hover the mouse onto that, it gives description. Triggers when a new file is created in a directory. So we need to, you know already, every connector will be having a connector configuration, right? So connector configuration, click on a plus sign. On which file or directory you want to pull on, just give that connection. First, we need to establish a connection by clicking on this tick mark. And what we on which directory, what is the path I can give? Working directory. What is the working directory here? Yeah, C colon files. Can I use the C colon files? Yes. Yes, we need to
Yes.
respond. Please.
Yes.
So this file configuration, what I configured, can we use this same configuration for remaining connectors also? Since
Yes.
it is acting as a global
Global.
element. Yes, right? Okay. Next, What is the directory? Again, it is asking for the general directory. Then general directory in the sense exact folder where I want to pull on. So in this files folder, there is something called input, right? So I want to pour onto this input folder. Okay. Now it will pull onto this and it will start execution. And if it is feels is there any new file, it will be triggered. That means it will be pour and it will be processed. So I will go I mean all the configurations as default. Okay, let's see, my requirement is done. This file you are on your file updated file endpoint will pull onto the directory and it will read the data. Okay, that is my first requirement. So whatever it is processed, I want to see on a logger. That means whatever it is giving back to the client, what the payload value I want to see at my console level. So what I can do, simply write payload. That will become a payload, right? Whatever it is processed, that will be the body.
Yes.
Save it. Now let me run the project. Okay, many people joined. Ravi, Bharat, Krishna, Purnima. Hi everyone.
I see.
Hello. Purnima, I think you talked with Mahesh, right? I spoke with Mahesh, right?
Yes, Sujit.
Regarding mechanism, he updated me actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good step. Yeah.
So when can I get the?
That he will speak everything about that point.
Okay. No, thank you.
Yeah. So see on the console, what you're able to see, what you're able to identify. What is this data?
The sales data.
Okay, let me clear this. Is it processing again? Again, is it processing? Yes or no?
Yes.
So my first requirement is what I want to pull onto the directory and I want to read the data. Is it processing the same? Yes. Now my second requirement is I don't want this file to be processed multiple times. What changes I need to do at this configuration level? What the change I need to do? That is my second requirement.
Once we read the file, maybe we can move into the other folder.
Okay, that we can do. Any other options?
We can delete the file.
Yes. So second requirement is what I just simple. I don't want to move. I said only requirement is what I don't want to process again second time. So simply can I delete that file, right? So you can see post processing action auto delete by default false, make it true. It will be deleted, right? Let me save it and let me show you that whether it is going to delete or not. Post processing action is going to work or not. I'm just saving this operation. That means project again, and this is the input folder, right? Let's have a look. Yeah, it is processed and it got deleted. Yes. And how many times it is processed? Once I
One
clear the
time.
data, only one time. Now my third requirement is I don't want to delete as well, but I want to process only one time. What is the step we can do? I don't want to delete, make it false. What can I do?
We can
I will
move into some.
move to some other directory, but I have one challenge here. When I am moving to some other directory, I want the original file name with some extension like I want to add some string for the file name as backup. Okay, I'm treating that file as a backup. So how can I add that string?
Rename. Okay.
Okay, on the rename, first of all, we move. I want to decide which directory I want to move on. Moved folder in that file, C colon files is the base configuration, and inside that, what is the directory name? Moved. Next, moved. It will move to moved folder. What is the next step? I want to, while moving, I want to rename it. What should I do? What should I write here? If I want to get a original file name,
We have to extract the file name.
how to? How? What is the expression I can write to extract a file name? So first of all, if you want to write an expression, we need to switch on expression mode. Next. Simple. Attributes. File is also having some attributes, right? File name, file path, time, timestamp. All these are the attributes, right? Out of that, let me extract. Sorry. Attributes dot file name. It will give the original file name. File name is one of the attribute, right? And I want to concatenate. I said I want to concatenate with some string like backup. Yes, backup. So am I doing that? Let me save it. Do I have any changes? Yes, let me save it, and let me place the file input file again because it got deleted, right? Let me save that file in the input folder. I'm going to place it, and at the parallelly we'll see whether it is going to process or not. Yeah, I'm just saving it. See, it moved to some other folder like mode folder as I described. And how many times it is processed? One time only. So what is the reason why it is processing one time? Because when it is pulled up onto that particular directory where I configured, on that directory the file is not available when it is pulled for the second time. Yes or no? So that's why it is not able to process. Understood clearly? Yes or
Yeah.
no? Now my fifth requirement, I don't want to delete, I don't want to move, and I don't want to rename. Okay, but I want the file to be processed only one time. When I place an sales file in the input folder, I want that file to be processed only one time. What changes I can do at my configuration level? What changes I can do? First of all, understood the requirement?
Yes.
A simple requirement. File should not be moved and deleted, but I want file to be processed only one time.
We can create one trigger file with the same file name, and we can delete the trigger file once it is processed.
No, I have only one file.
Okay.
Okay. See here, there is something called watermark mode. Watermark mode, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
There are three strategies in this watermark mode. By default, it's a disabled strategy. Modified timestamp, created timestamp. Let me configure as a modified timestamp. See, what is the configuration here? Modified. By seeing the name itself, what you are able to understand? Yeah, by seeing the name, what you are able to identify? Whenever file is present in the inside that, if any modification, if it is there, then only it will be triggered one more time. Otherwise, it will process only one time. So first let me get an output, then I will explain what is the story of this. Say I just saved it. Let me and go and place this sales file. How many times it should process?
One time.
So is it processed only one time? Let me clear the data. One time.
Yes.
But this file got deleted or moved? No. Right? Okay. Now what is this watermark mode? See, this watermark mode, but the concept came from a water dams. In simple language, another example, if I want to tell, water dams. See, and the water dams, there is a water level today at a 80 feet level. Example, right? At the end of the day, okay, who is working there? The guy who is working there, he will take the reading of the water level. Okay, it's an 80 today. Tomorrow, when he come back and he check, how can he identify whether it is the flow is up or down? That means, is it increased or decreased? Based on, yeah,
The level.
based on the readings what he noted yesterday. Yes or no? He has taken that reading somewhere yesterday night. Today morning when you come back, how can he identify whether it is increased or decreased? Exactly. He will check with the yesterday's reading. He will tally, okay, he will compare with the yesterday's reading. Yes or no? Correct? The same concept try to apply here. Okay, but before that, let me stop the server. I'm just stop the server and I'm trying to deploy this application again. How many times this process will, this file will be processed now? One time, two times, or multiple times?
One time.
Only one time? Any other answers? Yes, yes.
It is processed whenever the project is deployed.
That's not how many times. Now for my sales.csv file, how many times it will process? So no one is responding. No one is responding. Ravi, what happened, Ravi? Today, Krishna,
Only one time.
only one time. So how many times it is processing here now? How many times? 0 times. Why? Very simple reason. I selected as what? Watermark mod as modified timestamp. My timestamp, is it modified? But you can ask me a question. We deployed as a brand new application, no? Why it is not processed one more time? Actually, this watermark mode is nothing but a concept where it will store at the server level, where it will store the previous invocation state of your application. Okay, where it will store the previous invocation state. What is the previous state? Already deployed with the watermark mode as a concept, right? So where it will be stored, where is the path where it is getting stored, what I mean about the timestamp and all, it will store in the cache memory in the internally at the server level, right? Let me go to that path. So where your server, and this is the path, right? It is pointing to this path, right? Take this path and go to this path, package explorer. Now here you can see there is something called .mule folder. Inside that, see, these are all the applications as of now I deployed on this runtime. See, every batch I will be extracting this init point studio multiple times. Okay, so as of now on this runtime, I used this file endpoint file module start when today at 7:45. That means first time I deployed this application, right? So in that application, you can see there is something called object store. Object store is a very big concept in a Mule. If you take my architecture course, there it is explained about the object store, right? So what is this object store? It contains some temporary files. If you open that, there are, we can see some temporary files. So last time when I deployed that timestamp, you can note here 750, right? 750 is the timestamp. Now for a change, what I will do, in this input folder they have a sales file, right? Let me open that and let me modify that timestamp. I'm just doing some modifications at this file level. I'm deleting the first one and I'm saving this up. Now file stamp will be changed. Let's see. That means that your file to be processed. Yeah, right now I changed this 754. Okay, now go to the object store. The timestamp changed at the same time. Here you got output, right? Here you got an output. Once I modify, my new file endpoint is pulled onto the directory and it will check for the timestamp, the previous timestamp. It will be tallied, and from where it will be tallied? From the object store, right? Now every time if you want to process, if you don't want to, even though if you're not doing changes, if you want to process multiple times, what to do? Even if you are doing as a modified timestamp as a configuration, what to do? You need to manually go to the object store and clear these temporary files. Okay, that is the option, right? That is very helpful. See, every time we cannot go to the object store, every time whenever you're developing with that requirement, every time we cannot go to the object store and we cannot delete that these temporary files. So MuleSoft has given very very useful option here for a developer. They have, if they have a configuration as modified timestamp, normally how you will deploy the application, what is the process? Let me show you. Right click on this, run the project, right? Now this time deploy this application, right click on this, run as mule application configure, right? Mule application configure. So here I'm going to deploy which application 01 using a file module start, right? Now expand this window. There is something called clear application data, prompt always never. So by default your application data will not be removed from the server. That is the option by default. If you want to have a prompt, that means before deleting the clearing the application data, it will ask you, let me run this application. Now it is getting redeployed, right? While deploying, redeploying this, it will ask you whether you want to clear the application data which is present in this object store. Let's have a look here. If I click on S immediately, let's have a look. See, the file itself getting deleted. That means entire state till now, whatever we have, it got deleted and it is getting redeployed as a brand new application on the server. Now we can see new file, new 01 new file. I mean, at what time? 7:57. That means right now it is getting deployed, right? Is it a very good feature for a developer, right? And every time don't want to go to the cache memory and delete the temporary files and all. Simply use this application this way, that will be selected, right? So under the file module, what and all are the operations we have seen till now? Copy, create a directory. I will show you when you have a right module, and delete, move, on your updated, read. By default, it's reading the file. And we have seen about a rename also, right? All these things we saw in this on your updated file configuration. Now, my requirement is my client is giving this right with the path and is passing some query parameter like product name equal to Samsung and product price equal to 10,000 and product ID equal to 1234. Okay, this is the request given by my client. So what is the requirement? Once ever you give a request, dynamically the inputs, my file endpoint should read these values and it should write to some file. Example, I want to write it to some CSV file, right? As I said earlier, my file endpoints are blind. They don't know what structure they are reading, what structure they are going to write. So if you use a write component, write connector, it knows how to write only, but where to write, in which structure they want to write, it's not aware. It may be not aware of that. So what do we need to do? Before using the write module, we need to create one structure manually, right? Then based on that structure, it will write into that structure. That means into that file. So what is that file? How to read this and how to write it into that particular file? Let me show you. So first of all, in order to listen to this request, what is the component and what is the connector I need to use?
Listener.
HTTP listener. So everyone able to understand till here what I said?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
No one. I mean, apart from Suresh sir, Susmita, no one is responding today. What happened?
Yes, Ajit.
Weekend mode still on. Okay. So this is HTTP listener configuration. So what is the configuration? Like, can I use the same? That means did I have any configuration already? No, right? Let me click on a plus sign. 8081. And what is the path?
Right.
Right is the path. Save it. Right. Next. And what is the listener configuration? What is the listener will do? Convert that request into mule event. Right.
Event.
In that request, do I have any attributes? What
Yes.
type of attributes are these? Query
You are
parameters.
sorry. Query.
Query parameters. So if you want to extract the query parameter, how we are going to do it? Yeah, we
Attributes
can write
dot
an expression attributes dot query, but where we need to write? So we can use write module there. Right is a connector. Now whatever the payload we are getting to the write module, I want to write that payload to the so and so file. So where this file is created, can I use the same configuration? C colon files.
Yes.
Under the C colon files, what is the path? Output. Output is the folder, right? So output is the folder, and as I said, which file it's going to write? I want to write that file name also. So I'm going to create one products. I'm giving a name as a products. Products. What type of file it is? Dot CSV file. I want to write to this file, right? So here you can see the create parent directory. If this directory is not available, automatically you should create. By default, make it as a true. Write mode. If you have a file, it will be appended, or else if you don't have a file, it will create, or it will overwrite. So these are the very silly options. So normally you know about all this. So I don't have now. I am going to create a new. Okay. Next, I said this write operation will write the payload. What is the payload as of now here? From the event,
Yeah.
0. No payload. I want to extract that attributes and I want to set this as a payload, right? And one more point I told, this write module file endpoint, what all the modules are only table to, I mean, they are not aware of which file they are going to write, which structure they are going to write. So we need to create one structure before using this write connector. So how can we create input and output structures?
transform.
Transform message. So I'm using a transform message. So what will be the input for this transform message as of now? Event, attributes, payload, and a variable, right? Now on the right side, you can see define metadata. I want to define an output structure now. So let me define metadata. What type of file I want to create? Yeah, what type of file? What file we are going to write into? What type of file I'm going to create? I want to write the data into which file?
CSV file.
CSV file, right? So create a CSV. When you're using a CSV file, okay, definitely we need to include a headers, right? So what are the headers? I want to write it onto my own column names. So product ID, I want to take it into PID, or else prod underscore ID. Okay, it could be any data type. You can select any data type from here. Not only string, any data type you can refer. Let it be string. So one more, prod underscore name, right? Next one more, prod underscore name, ID, and price, right? Select. So this, see, by default it's Java, right? Once I define a metadata, so whatever body you write, it will be converted into the output format what you specified here, correct? Yes or no? Right? By default it is showing as a Java, right? Now since I referred the output as a CSV, if I drag and drop this query params onto that, the output format of output application slash, it will convert into CSV because I already defined in a structure. Okay, query params dot product ID. You know all the statements. So we'll be right. See this body, whatever I am writing here, it will be a payload to your write component. Yes or no?
Yes.
Save it. Right? Save it. Next, that the whatever the body you wrote, it will be a payload to the CSV file. Sorry, this write connector. So whatever the payload here, it will be write to this directory into this file. So let's see. Once I save this application with the changes, I think it is saved. Let me give a request. I need to send a request, right? So is it returned to the body? As per my listener configurations inside that body will be given at the same time. Our file got created here, right now, products file. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is how you need to use a write module. Got it? Create a parent, create a directory. By default, once you set the create a parent directory as true, automatically it will be created. Understand? It's a very simple module. Okay, maybe this is a file module will be common in every industry, I mean every field, right? In Mule, how to use it, that's what I have shown you. Got it? Yes or no, guys?
Yes, Sujit.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Sujit.
Okay. We'll start with another topic. So types of deployment strategies. How many types of deployment strategies we have seen?
Standalone,
Standalone.
on-premise,
Standalone means on-prem.
on-prem,
Okay.
cloud.
Cloud. Have you seen cloud?
No,
Hybrid.
Hybrid. Hybrid. What is pending?
CH Cloud.
Cloud Hub.
Cloud Hub. Right. Today we are going to discuss about Cloud Hub deployment. See, everything is same. This is a manual process. It you need to register. Straight away, once you create, you can deploy under the cloud. Very simple. Cloud Hub is a very simple when you compare with other two, right? So, but at your application level, you need to do some changes. Let me give some insights of this Cloud Hub. See, once you export your application out of a studio, what will be the file structure? Yeah. What type of file you are going to get out of this AnyPod Studio?
Jar file.
Jar
Jar
file.
where?
So assume that my application name is A. Assume application name is A. Now, I want this application to be upload onto the Cloud Hub. While I'm trying to upload, Cloud Hub will provision one virtual machine in cloud. It is called VM, and here it will call it as a worker. VM or a worker, both are same, right? Whenever you try to upload your application onto the cloud, it will provision one VM. Every VM will contain one Mule runtime where we can deploy. Upload means where we can upload and it can be deployed onto this Mule runtime, right? So how many your application to be deployed and how many instances of VM you can specify while uploading. If you specify as a 5, it will create 5 VMs. 1 second here. Whenever you try to upload application onto the cloud, you can decide that how many instances of your VM to be created and how many on VMs you can deploy your application. So if I select as a 5 VMs will get created, right? 5 VMs. Those are called instance of VMs, right? All VMs will have a mule runtime and it will be your application will be deployed on that, right? So am I increasing the number of VMs here?
Yes.
Yes.
So what type of scaling it is? It is an, we'll call that as an horizontal scaling. Okay. Now at the same time, every VM will have some capacity. Suppose by default one VM is having some memory like 1 vCore. vCore is nothing but 1 GB. It's a memory. You'll call in cloud platform. We'll call this a vCore, right? 1 GB memory have allocated. So if you want to increase based on the incoming traffic to your application, if you want to increase the capacity of your VM, you can increase that to vCore equal to 2 GB. So increasing the capacity of a particular VM is nothing but vertical scaling. Increasing the number of VMs is a horizontal scaling. Increasing the capacity of a particular VM is nothing but a vertical scaling, right? So how many applications I can deploy on a 1 VM? 1 VM, how many applications I can deploy? only one application. Okay, one application can be deployed on how many VMs?
Multiple VMs.
Pardon?
Multiple VMs.
Multiple in the sense there is a cap. If you are using a MuleSoft host cloud platform, there is a cap of 8 VMs. If you don't feel, if you don't feel that this is, sufficient, 8 VMs are sufficient, then you need to increase the number of VMs, but not provision in the Cloud Hub hosted environment. There you need to use your own private cloud. That is nothing but your, what is the strategy? Runtime fabric. That is discussed in my architecture course. Okay, runtime fabric. So what is the cap? This is why I'm raising this point here. It is a definite damn sure certification question. How many VMs we can, or sorry, how many applications we can deploy on a VM? Only one application. That same application can be deployed on how many VMs? If you are using a cloud, MuleSoft cloud,
8.
up to 8. 8 is the maximum. Okay. Now, if you want to send a request to this application, what is the path you will send? Can you please tell me the URL? Yes. If you want to send, what is the path of this application? Assume that it is mapped to /cloud. Okay, this is the path. If you have one flow inside, in that flow, this is mapped to /cloud. Can you please tell me what is the URL I can send? URL. HTTP.
Localhost.
Localhost. Is it a localhost? Am I deploying application onto the localhost? Local domain?
No,
Here I
no,
applied it onto the cloud.
no cloud. Yeah.
On the cloud, every VM will have the IP, right? Example, I'm giving 1, 2, 3, but there is an IP number. Yes or no? Do you know what is that IP? Where it is going to deploy? No, right? You don't know the
No.
domain name, right? And
Yeah, no.
okay, I'm sure that domain name I got somewhere. Next, on which port number my application is? Assume that in flow I have a listener. By listener, by default we listen on which port? 8081. Okay, assume that I'm sending a request to 8081 / what is the path? Cloud. Right. So somewhere I got a domain name. So on this cloud, do you feel that 8081 port is available? If it is not
No.
available, what to do? How you know? If you don't know how to, 8081 port is not available. If you deploy, if it is not available, then you will come back and change the port number at a code level. No, right?
No.
On a fly, we need to give an option to whom? There is something called default load balancer. All these applications on a cloud are mapped to this load balancer, right? So this load balancer is mapped to one URL by default, star.cloudhub.io. So this is the base URL mapped to load balancer. Whenever you try to deploy application A, the star will replace with A, right? Now what is the request you can use? http://a.cloudhub.io. There is no port number. You should not give a port number because we don't know on a cloud 8081 port is may available or may not be available. So at a listener level, while you're developing your application, at a listener level, we need to give an option on a fly to the load balancer to replace that listener port number with any other port which is available on the cloud, right? That should be done on a fly. That means while runtime. So there is no port number. So what will be the URL? http a.cloudhub.io / directly the path. Okay. If you want to pass any URI parameters according to the your application, you can pass it. So what is the change you need to do? You need to give a placeholder. At an application level in a listener path. How to give a placeholder? How to what are the changes you need to do at your application level. All these things we will discuss. So my load balancer is based on the incoming traffic to your application. It will balance the load to the VMs. Got it? Any
Yeah.
doubts here? Okay, let me show practically. I'm creating one new application. My system is very fast today. I'm creating one new project. I'm just giving a cloud demo, right? Okay, on cloud we can choose, by default you can choose the runtime also. Okay, let me finish it. So my requirement is, my client is passing request like this. Assume he knows about what is the port number and all. I will change that later. So 8081 slash, what is the path? Cloud is the path, and we are giving some name. I want the output, final output as welcome to Cloud Hub. Name equal to Cloud Hub. Okay. So what is my expression? Ultimate out expression I want to give it to client. Welcome to Cloud Hub. So query parameter I need to extract. Okay, that value, to get that value. So where I can write that. First, in order to listen for that request, I require a HTTP listener. So what is the best practice I told? You should not hard code the 8081 port number. Okay, you should not hard code the 8081 port number. What can I do? I need to get that value from one of the property file, how we have done for a environment specific file for a database, same thing. So I will give a placeholder. How to give a placeholder in data view or new $2 curly brace. Yes, I'm writing some http dot port. I'm going to write this in an externalized file. So I need to create one file here at a application level. New file. What is the what type of file? I'm going to create a YAML file. So HTTP is the name I am given for the YAML file, http.yaml. So what is the parent property I have configured in that listener? Parent property. HTTP is the parent property, right? Enter 2 spaces as a delimiters. You know, in YAML files, to write a child, 2 spaces, 1, 2. What is the our child property? Port, and give the values. 8081. Save it. Now, how to read this value, and I want how to pass that to HTTP listener. We need to configure one. How we will read this file? Create one property. What is that? Configuration properties. Give the file name. What is the file name? http.yaml. What it will do? By default, it will try to get that value as 8081 only. But on a cloud, if it is not available, are we giving an option to the load balancer to change the port number from 8081 to some other? Because we are given a placeholder, right? So what is the path? Cloud is the path. Okay, save it. Now I want to simulate some response as a welcome to Cloud Hub. I want to set as a payload. So I'm using a set payload. So demonstration purpose I'm showing this one. Okay, how to deploy the application on a cloud. Now what is the payload value? Welcome to. I used to concatenate with what?
Attributes.
Expression. Attributes dot query params dot name as string, because I'm concatenating with the string. Save it. Right. I will use logger also here so that we can see the logs where it is present. So can we deploy this application? We can deploy this application 2 ways. One way, you know already. See, when you are using a hybrid model. Okay, let me open that one as well. Under the runtime manager, if you try to upload the application onto the cloud, that means through hybrid model, there is it task for the server which server you want to deploy the application? Yes or no? Deploy application. Once you choose the file, here deployment target, if you have any other server, is it listed there along with this Cloud Hub server?
Yes. Yes.
So this time also you can choose the file. This time you can choose a Cloud Hub instead of a registered file, right? This is one way.
Yes.
What is another way? Let me delete all this application which is not available. Which are already existing. I'm just deleting them. Okay, I don't have any applications and I don't have any servers. So what is the next way? But from directly from the studio also we can upload onto the Cloud Hub. How? This is the application which I want to deploy. Right click on that. There is an option called any point platform. We can do all these operations. Right now I want to deploy to Cloud Hub. I'm just logging in with the username and password. Now you can see here, is it given any option to you to upload a file or what is the application you want to? No, right? It is stopping you because directly from there we choose the Cloud Hub, right? Now I just ask, it is asking for some, give some unique name. Some name I'm giving here. So this is the name of my application. Now that application where I'm going to deploy on a Cloud Hub environment. Now on the Cloud Hub environment, you can choose what runtime you can deploy on a fly. So there are some old patches also you can deploy on that as well, right? Right, I'm going with the 4.3 and you can see the worker size and workers as is shown. When you are trying to upload the application, it will ask you number of workers to be your application to be deployed on number of workers. How many workers we can deploy your application? VMs are nothing but workers up to 8, right? Here it is showing as only 1 because your current subscription allows only 1 worker per application because it's a trial version. Got it? And each worker we can have some size. So since it's the trial version, exact figures you are not able to see. According to your subscription package, it will show here. And you can, I mean, one admin account also will be there for a whenever you purchase an account. Okay, that admin will give access to all of your cloud platform related things, right? So what is the size to be allocated and all? Once they allocate, you can choose what is the worker size you can deploy your application, right? And properties. In standalone runtime, if you want to take the file from the development environment, what is the how you will pass the environment variable in the wrapper file -d my-env equal to dev my-env equal to prod. That is standalone, right? In the cloud platform, how you can do, how you pass the runtime arguments. This is the key. My-env equal to dev. Okay, we can write this. This is the properties tab where we can pass the runtime arguments. Logging, where you can write some log information. By default, it will show the log information, info level logs. If you want only debug or warning level logs or error level logs present in that, it will show this one also, right? You can create that as a package as well. Now let me go ahead and deploy. Once I deploy this application, will it be shown in the on-premises server? Will it show in a on-premises server? Nowhere it is related to that, right? Yes, right? So let me open that in a browser. If you want to open the browser, you can open. Otherwise, you can go to the runtime manager. Under the runtime manager, are you able to see? This is the name of my application which is getting deployed on a cloud server. Once you click on that application, I said my load balancer is mapped to one URL. This application URL. What is the application URL here? I will take this one and I will write here. I don't know the domain name and port number, correct? So HTTP request cloud1 demo. This is the application name I told. This is the one star represents with the application name. Dot US-E2 is the region name. On a cloud, it may deploy on multiple locations, either as US region, Ohio region, or multiple regions are there for a MuleSoft, right? Asia, South Asia region, Asia specific region, like that, where they are maintaining the servers, right? They will be deployed onto that. We don't know where and which they are going to deploy until you deploy the application. So US-E2 region dot cloudhub.io. This is the domain name that means configured for the CloudHub deployments, and slash cloud is my path of my flow, and you are a query parameters. Okay, is it deployed? Yeah, it is started. Now if you want to see the logs, you can see first what is the log here. Application queue to deployed. Okay, next deploying application to one worker in so and so region. Only one worker we choose there. Provisioning cloud hub worker in US-E2 region. That's what I said. Whenever you try to upload or deploy the application, it will provision one VM, right? VM means worker. Provisioning cloud hub worker. Starting cloud hub worker at the IP. Every machine will have some IP, right? It will be started on that, right? That is a worker IP. And that means I have only selected one IP. And starting your application, on which runtime I selected 4.3 runtime, right? And just come down. Once the application is deployed successfully, you can see on this IP, your application has started successfully and your application is started, right? Let me give a request and see. Did I get a response? Yes or no?
Yes.
No? Yet. At the same
Yes.
time, you can see that on the logs. Welcome to Cloud Hub. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to know more about the Cloud Hub and small admin part and all, you need to take my architecture course. Okay. This is in the fundamentals. How to mainly concentrate. We concentrated on what is a Cloud Hub. Whenever you try to deploy application on a Cloud Hub, what is the change you need to take at your application level, the best practice. Got it?
Okay.
So I stop here.